What's up, Marvel Snap players? Welcome back to the Published Boardgames channel. And it's been a while. Last season I hit Infinite late, and then I made a deck that was just 12 cards I wanted to get boosters for, and I just kind of, grind, throw matches, collect boosters, and I kind of checked out a little bit. And then this season, coming back, I was like, I'm going to goof around with the new card that we've got, Daken. And I wanted to build some stuff, and I made the really obvious deck of Sarah Surfer. We have Daken and Killmonger's there to trigger Daken, like Nova as well, and it's just a Silver Surfer deck, and I hated it. Every time I played it, everything went wrong, and it was really bad. And I was like, that's it, I'm going to try and make a discard deck, but there's only 2 different cards that discard things. We've got MODOK, which discards everything, and then we've got Colleen Wing, which only discards the lowest card in the hand. We don't need anything that discards things at random, because we're really going to control what the cards in our hand are. And we have a lot of other niche little synergy things here, and I'm going to run through it all in a second, but I just completed Gold Conquest. First attempt, made it through. Most of the games, people don't expect you to blow up in power on the last turn, and so they snap heavy, you win 8 cubes on it, and then they just quit when they've only got 2 life left and you've got 10. So it's pretty surprising. A lot of my matches on the ladder kind of win this way, and I've got a 62% win rate right now, which is really high for a meme. I made this as a joke. I was like, I just want to try out Moon Girl in the discard list. Now, this is really interesting because the first and most obvious synergy here is that Daken puts a card into your hand that doubles his power. That's what the shard does. It doubles his power. Now, if you use Moon Girl to get a second shard into your hand, when you discard your entire hand with MODOK, he will double to 8, and then he will double to 16, which gives you a huge stat boost. And this was kind of the core of what I initially started with. And then I had Morbius, because I'm like, okay, I'm always discarding 7 cards at some point. And then I was playing Mystique, and then I realized that Mystique is actually bad, and the Collector is just better because I have a lot of cards being put into my hand because I've got Swamp, which gives the Collector a lot of power. I've got Moon Girl, which usually gives us 3 cards, sometimes 4. They're always 3 cards, sometimes less. Sorry. And then Helicarrier. Helicarrier is actually pretty good here because it just always gives +3 to the Collector, and sometimes you'll draw relevant stuff to play on the final turn. And so the way that the deck is angled is that it curves out really well every time. If your opening hand has M'Baku in it or Quinjet in it, you are playing it out because the order of the cards in your hand is really important and your hand size is really important. So you're trying to play out your 1s immediately, and then you're trying to play out your 2s, and then if you've drawn a 1, your turn 3 is trying to be a 2 and a 1 or Daken. And then on turn 4 you're trying to play Moon Girl, on turn 5 you're trying to play MODOK, and then turn 6 is usually America Chavez and like 4 Swarm or something, depending on what Helicarrier picks up. Some interesting synergies we've got here is M'Baku seems like a really funny pick here, but he is actually really consistently activating his ability because he's either in your opening hand or on turn 4 you play Moon Girl, right? So your hand's now full, so you can't draw M'Baku on turn 5. On turn 6 you can't draw M'Baku because you have to be drawing America Chavez. So there's like actually a much higher chance that he's going to be in the deck rather than be drawn, which means that he does quite often actually jump out and help. But the reason why we have the 2 1-drops is because you need to be able to keep your hand size low for when you get to turn 4 and play Moon Girl. Otherwise you are not copying enough cards for it to be relevant. Because if you're just getting like +1 card, when you play Daken, the Miramasa, this card, when you add the Miramasa shard, it's the last slot. So to get a copy of that, it has to be within the first 3 cards. So playing the things out to keep your hand size small is really important. Morbius and the Collector you kind of always throw out. Wolverine I very rarely play unless if there is a location, like Altar, that like destroys things. Swarm I will never play out until the final turn, and then Colleen Wing is your backup plan if you don't draw MODOK, because if you Moongirl and copy Colleen Wing and the Mirror Master shard, you can play 2 Colleen Wings and discard both shards so that you'll still get the double in power. Which is a lot. Like, there is a kind of a lot of niche strategy kind of happening in here. Quinjet was just because I wanted a 1-drop, but also we're Moongirling our entire hand. But also Helicarrier gives us a whole bunch of random cards. So it does randomly become relevant sometimes in the last couple of turns of the game. But then if people Killmonger you, you're like, I don't care. I still just play MODOK for 5. I don't need to play my copy of MODOK for 4. It's all the same. It's all the same. And so basically, turns 1 through 4, your board state is like less than 5 power. Turn 5, you have like 20, 30 power in play, and then turn 6, you just like dump the rest. So it is really interesting. There's kind of a lot of strategy in how it all comes together, but it just curves out really nicely. And so what we're going to do is we're just going to run some on the Infinite ladder. I am nearly 100. I haven't really played too much since then, because when I did a Conquest, I hit Infinite last night. Playing, not even very seriously, just kind of playing some games. Alright, so we've got the nut, basically. Moongirl and MODOK and Daken is kind of perfect. I'm just going to instantly snap. Not drawing MODOK makes it much harder to win. Drawing MODOK before playing Moongirl is great. It's like the ideal scenario. I'm hoping I draw something that costs 2, so drawing Morbius or the Collector here would be best. Okay, it's Nebula. That's fine. Collector. Wolverine, I'm not going to play that, that's fine. So I'm also looking at the order of my hand. I'll be playing Daken, Mirror Master Shard will be here, or will be after a card because I'll be drawing something. Then I'll be playing Moongirl, so my hand will be MODOK, Wolverine, Unknown, Mirror Master Shard. Which means I won't get a copy of the Mirror Master Shard because I missed on 2. Scorpion's not really a problem. I'll still just play this out. But I'll have a copy of Swarm and I'll have a copy of Wolverine. So my final turn hand will be 4 Swarm. I'll be discarding 2 Wolverine that are 3s. I want to be careful to not put something here because the Wolverines might fill it up. Okay, so we're going to MODOK. I think just over here is fine. Maybe in the sewer system? I think over here is fine. I'm going to put Chavez in the sewer system. Please, Wolverine 1. He's back up to 2 power. He's got -2 from Scorpion in the sewer system. That's Helicarrier, which gives us Enchantress, which is pretty good. Here's another Wolverine. There's a Devil Dino, so I could actually just play Enchantress in this lane and win. Because that'll be 5, 6, 7. I will have more than that. I go like this. This seems fine. I already snapped. I'm winning middle, he doesn't know that. And then he has to compete here. I'll see how this goes. A tie on the Agatha lane. I will confess, I did know in advance this person was playing Agatha. I received them a lot on the ladder. But there's a tie in that lane and I win the other 2 lanes. So that was easy. Easy dub. Okay, this is kind of a god hand. Especially with this. I'll just snap instantly. Get the Daken next turn. I'm holding MODOK. I draw Moongirl, it's just a victory. play this out. I need to draw something. I need to draw Helicarrier, I think. Helicarrier. Helicarrier, then Moongirl, and I still Murdoch on 5. Murdoch on 4 is really good. Okay, that's M'Baku. I think I did nothing. I'm under no pressure to play this card right now. It costs 0, I can do it later. So you can play it if I need to adjust my hand size for Moongirl. Cosmo. Okay. Good to know. I draw Helicarrier. So I probably can just play Modoc here. And then things are fine. I know I can't get Cosmoed. And Wolverine, with Wolverine you have to be careful you don't accidentally fill up a lane. Because I have one that has got 3 out of 4. If Wolverine is discarded here, you could fill up Elysium, but he's not in my hand. But that is something I'm thinking about a lot when I'm placing my people in places. That is a big double dinosaur. And at 13, I have a 3-mana Doc Ock. And I have Lockjaw. That's interesting. I don't know that I want to play Lockjaw. I like this. Maybe this is the way to go. He's got 6 cards in hand. This will make the Devil Dinosaur smaller. And then I can get Chavez in here maybe. Mine, I guess. Okay, that's fine. Can you get 16 more with 1 card? I don't think so. Because here's America Chavez, and I'll domino into Lockjaw for a meme. Because if doesn't matter against Cosmo, I don't think I can hit Morbius. I still don't think that's going to matter that much. Play super slow, that's fine. Let me get that. You get an easy 8 cubes. Victory! So that's how it goes. It's that simple. Sometimes it really is that easy. I was really surprised. I genuinely thought this deck was going to be a joke. Because I just wanted to Moongirl all the discard cards for value. And it's actually really good. It's really pretty consistent. I don't know, I've been really enjoying playing Marvel Snap recently. I'm currently collection complete, and I've been doing my dailies every day. This deck was something that I was like, wow, this is actually really good. I took it all the way from 70 to Infinite. I just completed a Gold Conquest, and then Infinity Conquest unlocks in 2 weeks. I'll be having a run at that also, so maybe I'll farm up some tickets in time to get a couple of attempts in. And that's kind of it. On this channel there is a whole bunch of other Marvel Snap content, deck techs and ideas and stuff like that, but there's also Magic the Gathering content, Pokemon TCG content, and just like general board game content. I also have a podcast, the From Scratch to Shelf podcast, which is on its own channel. I'll throw a link down to that as well. And so if you're interested in board games, the board game industry, making your own board game, or even making your own game like Marvel Snap or Magic the Gathering, we talk about a lot of that kind of stuff, and we can maybe help you get started on your way to that dream being fulfilled. So definitely check that out. And I hope to see you in the next one.